Look at the rabbits. So this is my cherry tree, and aside from snapped branches like there, I think it's probably pigeons landing on it, and they keep eating all my cherries before they're ripe and leaving the pips in the greenhouse. So I don't think I'm going to get to eat any of these cherries this year. Oh well, next year I can net it. It's a bit cold last night. 4.9 degrees. But everything seemed to have survived. Hi, welcome to my June plot tour. Please like, subscribe and share. Come see how my vegetable beds and fruit beds are doing. So this is my first bed. Yes, it's a bit out of control. I need to prune that. My globe artichoke has survived being moved, but it's obviously a very congested bed. I've got the dreaded bindweed that I have to deal with, but that's a problem on all of the plot. So if we come around here, this first bed has got a few brassicas over there that overwintered. Here is supposed to be parsnips. Now I have re-sowed them, and there was possibly a few coming up, but we'll have to wait and see whether they are parsnip seeds or weeds. In this next bed are cabbages. Now I've got a couple of small, they might be greyhound cabbages I need to harvest. And there's some bigger ones there which look a bit better, but obviously it needs a weed. I've always found growing cabbages quite difficult. In all of these side pots are potatoes. I think most of these are Charlotte potatoes, and up the other end is a few King Edward potatoes. This is the bed I haven't grown on. I've still got wood and things stored on here. Here is my carrot bed. I did re-sow about a week or so ago. And if we come in closer, there are some carrots, so I'm hoping that more come up, but we've got some carrots here and there, so at least it's a start. Next is my sweet corn bed. Now these sweet corn I put in a while ago. I know I need to weed underneath, but then a week or so ago I put in these plants, some extra ones, so I should get a crop at a different time. So they're looking okay. If we come back to here, on this arch we have pea alderman, so it's up to about head height. We've got them on both sides, and the peas have, well, the pods are there, but you've got to wait for the peas to form. Here we have, I'm just looking at what that is. I don't think it's kohlrabi. At a guess, I'd say Brussels sprouts, but I can't find the label. It's a Brassica anyway, and they're looking fairly healthy. I just need to make the nets higher. The next bed here is Kale, Cavalo, Nero, and let's have a look down here. There's some purple sprouting broccoli. So maybe the other bed was purple sprouting broccoli as well. I will get my label sorted properly. And this next bed is my Leeks. Leeks here. At the end here, yes, it does need a weed. There is some kohlrabi, but they're looking a bit slug-eaten. And down here, I've got some cucumber. They are market more. They are alive, but they haven't shot up yet. And I've tried to plant next to each archway a sunflower. They've all just about survived, but I'm hoping that they'll get really tall, as long as the slugs leave them alone enough. Next, this was my broccoli. I've already had a fair amount of harvest. These were sown probably February time, so it's the side shoots I'm cutting off. So they've not been massive, but we've had a few meals. The potato at the end there is starting to flower. So they're growing okay. Now here are my bush tomatoes, and they've survived being planted outside. And over here I've got some patty pans. Again, I've got some sunflowers. This one's a bit taller than the other arch. And the nasturtiums are growing from last year's self-seeded stuff. I think the tomato varieties in here are Marmande and Roma. I've also got some basil dotted around, and it's just about surviving. Here we've got King Edward potatoes. They're growing well. Now, this bed, there's some self-seeded poppies in there which will come to bloom soon. I've also planted 3 courgettes, but I think I'm going to turn this into a herb bed. Well, partially a herb bed, and also what I call snack bed, because here is my patio, and I want to plant things that I can sit on my chair and kind of munch, like mange tout, sort of sugar snap peas, maybe a bit of lettuce, that sort of thing, so I can have a bit of a munch. So that, I think, is what this bed, I know it means I lose another bed out of the rotation, but I think some nice fragrant herbs and snacky stuff will be lovely. Now, if you excuse the sun, this is the greenhouse. I experimented a couple of days ago on how to glaze, so I've got to find lots of smaller bits of wood to help with that. Obviously they'll need to be painted. If we go into the greenhouse, I have tomatoes with basil behind. I have peppers at the back, tomato, and then tomato down here. So still a lot of work to do on the greenhouse. but I'll get there slowly. At the back there I've got my compost bins. I moved my water bin over to there because I didn't like it on the patio right by the greenhouse. Over here we've got some beans that have come up. I planted in some beans, I transplanted some, but the slugs have had a field day. And we've got butternut squash, and we have, amazingly, all 8 of those. That's butternut butterfly, which I think is the same sort that I grew last year and got nice big butternuts. In this bed we have, I think it's your cheeky curry or oki curry, whatever you call it. So I have 1, 2, I've got 4 there, which is brilliant. Most of the beans around the edge, these are dwarf beans, have been eaten by slugs. And I have 1 cheeky curry there. So I lost 3. Oh no, there's 1 there. I've lost 2 red curry plants here. Along the front here I've got some radishes. I have started eating them. Oh, they're hot and spicy, but apparently that's what you get in the hot weather. Over here is my flower bed and pond, which you can't even see. It's gone mad. It needs a bit of a weed. You have some gorgeous roses, but they have very short stems. The lupin was amazing, but it's now gone to seed. So I will give it maybe another week, and then I will cut back to let some of the other plants have a chance at getting some light. We've obviously also got some foxgloves that the bees love, and the purple geranium is lovely. And I think I've got a white geranium over there that's also lovely. At the back there is some, I think you call them oxeye daisies, something like that, that's about to come into flower. This next bed is a bit of a disaster. It's another winter squash bed. Now there was supposed to be, I planted 6 honeyboat squash, 5 of them grew. I now only have possibly 2 left, but it's better than nothing. Some of the dwarf French beans around there are surviving, and I lost some extra squash here, but there is 1, that's a butternut hunter again, that survived. So these butternut hunters seem to be a bit more robust. There's a change in this bed. There used to be, I think this one was a garlic bed, because it's quite tough to dig over. I harvested it all because it got confused with the weather, and although it had split, about at least half of it had regrown again with the funny weather earlier on in the year. So I've cleared all my onions and garlic, well, apart from a tiny bit of garlic down in the strawberry bed. And I've planted in a jack-o'-lantern pumpkin and the rest of the sweet corn, which is the same as in the other bed, where you've got the large sweet corn and the small sweet corn. Over here I've got some more, I think, patty pan. They're surviving nicely. So it's the sunflowers. This is where I took the onions out of. I'm pausing to see what I need to plant there. So there's a couple of, volunteer potatoes. I've got my Jerusalem artichoke in the pot, that's surviving nicely, and some autumn raspberries, which shouldn't be there, but because mine in the other bed aren't doing so well, I'm leaving those because I'll transplant them later in the year. More, I think, King Edward potatoes. These are my bubbleberry strawberries. Now I also have these at home. Absolutely fed up with them. Absolutely no fruit, even on plants which are, I think I've got a couple of pots which have got 2 or 3 year old plants in, and they have tiny strawberries. I will taste them as soon as they look ripe, but I'm really disappointed. I thought they were supposed to have nice, a reasonable sized strawberry. If they don't produce, they are going. I'm not wasting the space. Over here is the Tenera strawberries. This is the second year they've been here, so they've really established well. Lots of lovely fat juicy strawberries now, hence the need for the netting for a few weeks. Here is my bamboo, which is in a pot because there is no way I'm planting it out. I need to plant it into a bigger pot so that it can thrive, but I don't want it to spread, so I'm going to cut the canes, when they're big enough to use at the plot. This is the reduced rose I got from B&Q in the winter. Unfortunately, the red one died, but the pink one survived. Eventually, I'd like to plant that over the arch at the entrance. If we come along here, there are a few sugar snap peas. The sugar snap ones too, one of the other two. I can just pick them and they're sweet enough to eat. And here, more strawberries. There is the garlic, which I didn't realise was there. So I think this is Germador. So this looks just about ready to pull up. Might pull it up next week. There's also some self-seeded nasturtiums, and that's obviously the alderman peas, which are podding up nicely. Here are, I always forget, I think it's Teaberries. There is tons of fruit forming. The bees have done a wonderful job, but I need to do some repairs. I don't know if you can see how wonky that is. It's not totally fallen down yet, but with the weight of the fruit, I'm surprised it hasn't. So some repairs needed there. These are my black currant bushes and gooseberries. Wow, all the gooseberries haven't been nicked, so I need to get them netted. Again, vine weed's a problem. This is my autumn raspberry bed. Vine weed's a problem, but also there's not so many healthy plants. These are my summer raspberries, getting choked by the vine weed. As you can see, I've managed to weed half my plot, but the fruit stuff is suffering a bit. And this is what's left, what I've got with my wood store. So some of this will be used on the greenhouse. These are my red currants. Eventually, I think I'll take these out because I'm not so keen on them. But if you look down here, they are ripening up nicely. Not bad for £1 shop plants, but that was 10, 15 years ago. And then we're back to the shed, which is still not being painted. Last year I painted half of it, but within 6 months. That's what happened. So much for quality paint stuff. And that is my whole plot. So thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe and share. And I'll see you next time. Bye for now.